She says, my main hang-up with the Catholic Church is they claim to be infallible. I hear a lot of what infallible is and what it isn't. So then what is infallibility?
Yeah, thanks. So infallibility is nothing other than the promise of Christ to the church that the gates of hell would not prevail against her. Christ gave the church a determinate mission that was to go into all nations, make disciples, and teach everything he'd commanded. And he promised to be with the church till the end of the age. So infallibility is just a doctrinal way of rephrasing that promise of Christ, that he would accompany the church in the task of handing on the faith and teaching it. Now, if the Holy Spirit did not accompany the church, then the church might just teach willy-nilly whatever anybody wanted to say. And you would have no guarantee that the message you were getting today is the one that Christ actually wanted conveyed, right? Because, look, I mean, whether you're looking at the sacred scriptures or sacred tradition, there's some historical daylight a little bit between the life of Christ and our records of that life, right? And historians can do their work and try to determine the accuracy of the Gospels and the reliability of the tradition, and it's accurate and it's reliable. But ultimately, the integrity of the faith and the deposit of faith being handed on to all nations depends not on how careful our scholarship is, but on the promise of the Holy Spirit, that the church is not going to defect from the truth. And so another way of putting this is what is the rule of faith for Christian doctrine? If you want to know what it is that Christians are to believe, did Jesus give us any way to determine that? Or is it just whatever you want? You believe whatever you want? Or did he actually give us some system to say what does a Christian faith consist in? Well, he did give us some system. He gave us a way to know the content of the Christian faith, and that was the teaching of the church, which is guaranteed by the Holy Spirit not to be in error. That's what infallible means. It's not fallible. It's not going to make a mistake in conveying the teaching of Christ to the church. Now, there are a lot of things that, say, a priest or a bishop might get up and say and do that is his own opinion, and that is not infallible. That's fallible. So if a bishop gets up and says, well, you have to buy this stock, or listen to this record, or eat this can of soup. I mean, these kinds of judgments are not part of the doctrine of the church. They're not infallible. They can make mistakes. They make prudential errors about policy. We need to hold a Bible study on Wednesday night. Oh, I forgot. Bingo's on Wednesday night. Right? I mean, that's just a prudential judgment. That kind of stuff's not infallible. But when the church says, here is something that all Christians must definitively believe because it's been handed on by divine revelation, those kind of pronouncements are guaranteed by the Holy Spirit not to be in error.
Very good. And Tori, it's Tori. Thank you so much for both.